Late last year, we launched our Never Too Late to Tell campaign, which aims to encourage victims of childhood sexual abuse to speak out and to start the healing process. Well, today we're joined by Marilyn Hawes, an ordinary mum who has made it her life's mission to help parents spot the signs that their child might be being sexually abused. This comes after she says she discovered two of her own children have been groomed and sexually abused by a very close family friend. Joining her is former EastEnders actress Kacey Ainsworth, a trustee of Marilyn's charity Enough Abuse UK. And thank you very much, ladies, for joining us. Thank you, Marilyn, as well. If I can come to you first, and we'll talk about Enough Abuse UK, your organisation, shortly. But firstly, if you could just give us a sense of what your family went through.
Well, I'd known the man for 17 years and he was my best friend, and all I knew was suddenly the police turned up at my doorstep and said, "Can we come in? Need to speak to you." 9 hours later they left and they told me that my children had been very seriously groomed, that they knew, and they didn't know the rest, but the rest came out later. And then I had to wait 6 months before he was actually arrested, and then he went to the magistrate's court. He said he was guilty, and that was a dreadful shock because until then I was still absolutely loyal to him, that he'd been my best friend. Then it went to the Crown Court and he said he was guilty again, and he basically walked free with a fine. And when the police phoned me and said, "We knew he'd walked from court because the judge has done this to so many others." And I said, "Well, I'm questioning it. I'm sorry, that man is going to jail." Because I'd been his best friend and I was worried people would think I was like Myra Hindley or something like that. So they said, we won't win, you can't challenge the judge, you'll be done for contempt of court. I said, "You can throw the key away, I shall chain myself naked to Buckingham Palace and be heard, because this man is going down, I tell you." And I spent a couple of months fighting it on my own. I couldn't afford a lawyer, and I saw the Attorney General, who was Mr Goldsmith, and he said, "You're right, it's unduly lenient," and it went to the Crown Court and he was jailed. I was very ill mentally for a long time. I had depression for a very long time and high anxiety, and I saw my boys go through psoriasis, asthma, deep depression. In the years in their sixth form, when they were taking A-levels, one of the boys was ill for a whole term with glandular fever. It was just horrendous, and I thought, after 2 years of being very ill, I thought, "Come on, get your act together, girl." I wrote a book about how a mother feels when she's going through it, because I couldn't find any help, and that was published, so I was proud of that. And then I started seeing all these people, like I thought, well, how did I miss it? And I realised I missed the behaviours. It's absolutely the behaviours you can have. And I do actually go and visit prisoners to find out that the training we now do is on point, to see, is there a blueprint? Yes, there is.
You were at your child's school.
Yes.
Marilyn came to do one of her talks.
She came to do one of her talks.
And you were just bowled over by it?
Yeah, well, I was just, as a parent, and it's 6 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. I don't really want to go and listen to 2 hours on grooming. That's what I thought, and I thought, I'm streetwise, I probably know everything. But, I always think if the school are good enough to put on these, helpful things for parents, how to revise, all of those things, you might as well turn up. So I turned up, I sat near the door in case I wanted to smile and wave and leave if it was a bit dry. I had that kind of arrogant attitude to it, do you know what I mean? I thought, oh... Anyway, I got in, Marilyn started talking, and within 30 seconds, obviously, my jaw was on my chest, and then 2 hours went in a flash, and I learnt things that I had absolutely no clue about, and I thought I was, I'm fairly streetwise, and I found, obviously, she is very passionate about how she talks, but also she's very practical. It's the doing things, and so from the talks, I went home and made some immediate changes in my family's life. And then after that, I went on to... Because there was only about 20 parents at this point.
What changes, sorry, Kacey, what were you thinking? What changes did you make immediately?
Well, I didn't really realise how much certain apps are kind of invaded by people who are trying to groom. And I didn't really realise how easy it was.
Are you able to prevent abuse? Do you acknowledge how rife it is, and it is? Yeah. Do you believe that there'll be people in this audience who have been the wrong side of this crime? Yes. You'll know children that are. We all do. but it's the behaviour that will tell you. Are you listening? Are you listening to what those children are saying? You know, they don't have the language skills, so this is a game. It's my little game that I'm playing. Secret little game, fun. So the way that what they're doing to the children will be fun. I'll give you one example. One little boy I went to go and see in a children's centre talking about Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
Absolutely.
Can I finally say, because we have run out of time, how are your boys now? Quickly?
Oh, they're great, thank you.
Good.
Yes, they're
Good.
really great, because I believe them, and it came out young. And I believe them, and I fought for justice.
Yeah.
And they absolutely support what I'm doing every time.
You're an amazing...
Ladies and gentlemen, Marilyn Hawes and Kacey Ainsworth, thank you very much for joining us.